Hi everybody and welcome to a new update for Darkest Dungeon 2. Very exciting update today. We have gotten the beginning of our path reworks, along with a couple other changes as well. Let's get the elephant out of the room. The elephant in the room out of the room. I am obviously sick. I lost my voice the other day. It's recovered a fair bit, so I'm going to try to get through this as quickly as possible. I couldn't even talk yesterday, so I will not be streaming or anything today, but I really need to get this update out because I think it's a big update. So let's talk about these changes. Basically, I'm not going to go through this whole paragraph. You guys can read it here and pause it if you want to. But we do have hero balance, new lair boss trophies, and new infernal flames that have been added. Basically, this is the beginning of a long requested change, which is that we would like to get heroes balanced and paths reworked and things like that. And that this is the beginning of that process. Other heroes are going to be getting the same treatment. Obviously, they're doing this in batches. If they do in batches of 2 heroes every time, that seems pretty good to me. Big note though, this is only available on the experimental branch. If you switch over to the experimental branch and do this and play it, that save file will no longer be playable on the regular version of the game. So if you plan on switching back and forth for whatever reason, do keep that in mind. So it is risky, but don't, it's a lot of fun to play this stuff and give feedback. Obviously they listen to it. Let's get into it. We have new trophies. There's 1 new trophy for each of the lair bosses, and they are very, very fun. I enjoy them. The only one I don't really like is Rancid Feast. I'm not going to go into what all of these do, but suffice to say that they're pretty cool. This does increase the randomness of what you get from the lairs. So it's a little bit more chaotic. You can't always guarantee you're going to get one. And there have been some other changes to some of the other trophies as well, which I think are included later in the patch notes. So we'll talk about that later. We do have new infernal torches. You'll get these unlocked at the beginning if you have already done so. Like if you have already unlocked the Despairing Flame or whatever it is in the altar fully already, you will have all of these unlocked. They're pretty interesting. The Fragile Flame is basically the opposite of the Radiant Flame. It's basically a bunch of random effects that you get. So it's different every time. Pretty interesting. All negative though. The Killer's Glow gives you crit. Every time that you kill an enemy, you get like a semi-permanent, like for the next whole region, or for the rest of that region, you get like a crit bonus. But every time you kill somebody, the rest of your team gets really stressed out. So you have to balance that. Star of the Chosen gives a taunt to 2 random people at the beginning of the fight. And then every turn, start 2 people, 1 enemy, 1 hero get a combo token. So kind of a way to generate combo. Pretty interesting. And the Bastard's Beacon, this one is brutal. They're not kidding about it. This basically makes every enemy, no matter the region, no matter the act, every enemy is ordained. Wandering bosses spawn at a much higher rate. Lair bosses are ordained, and confession bosses have unique buffs that make them brutal. I've seen the buff even for the Act 1, the chains, and it makes that fight really rough. So, scary. Alright. Continuing on from here. We have the Graverobber. These are her changes. I'm going to fly through these as quickly as I can. Again, I'm trying to save my voice here, but you can pause and read as much as you want. So the Graverobber Wanderer path has been adjusted to reflect its identity as an evasive, flexible counter defense kit with a crit focus. Okay, so it's counter defense and more about dodge and stuff like that. So Absinthe Plus healing threshold has been increased. Flashing Dagger's damage has been increased, its crit rate has been increased, and it now ignores dodge if the Graverobber has stealth. Interesting. Glint in the Dark damage has increased. Okay. Lunge damage, it looks like the bottom range of lunge damage has come up a little bit, so 4 to 8 to 5 to 8, etc. Lunge now applies knockback on Wanderer, knockback 2 and 3 respectively, so that's pretty interesting. Pick to the face, crit has been increased, but the damage has been reduced. Looks like, look at that. The damage has been reduced from 4 to 10 to 4 to 9. It's a very small damage reduction. Pick to the face now removes all block from the target on a successful crit. Okay, so that's the counter defense part probably. Very good if you're dealing with like the cannon, huh? Pirouette no longer grants dodge or dodge plus. Pirouette now applies 1 week to the Graverobber as well as days. Pirouette does not apply the days or week if the Graverobber has stealth. Pirouette instead applies the days and week to the targets. Wow, you can give 2 weakness and 2 days to the front ranks if you have stealth. That's really good. Damage has been increased. And Repartee crit buff has been moved to Deadeye Paths. That was the one that she got in the last update, so we'll read about that in a minute. So now Repartee applies a 3-round buff that grants 50% damage chance of adding a dodge token whenever attacks miss the Graverobber, but this is only applied if repartee is used while the Graverobber has stealth. Okay, so if you don't have stealth, probably just gives you the dodge. If you have the stealth, it gives you that buff. Interesting, okay. Shadow Fade now grants a strength token instead of a speed token. Okay, that's probably fine. She's fast enough anyway, right? Throw dagger damage has been increased. Okay, that's the Wanderer path. Deadeye path has been updated to provide better tools for back rank Destroyer, with heavy emphasis on crit capabilities. Melee skills no longer negatively effective. Movement resistance is no longer negatively impacted. Absent dodge tokens have been reduced from 3 to 2. Same with dodge plus. Absent and absent plus no longer grant a speed token. Okay, but now it gives you the plus crit bonus for the remainder of the current combat, stacking up to 12 and 18%. Okay, cool. So this is really good for boss fights and stuff. You can basically get up to 18% on a path that already has very high crit chance, on a hero that already has very high crit chance. Very cool. Flashing Dagger's launch ranks have changed to the back rows, and the targets that it hits have been changed to the back rows. So it only hits rank 3 and 4 from rank 3 and 4 now. So it's a very focused, back row damage dealer, which is nice because people have been asking for a dedicated back row damage dealer. This isn't a new hero, but it does make her more focused, I guess. Flashing Dagger's damage has increased. Okay, crit has increased. Thrown Dagger and Thrown Dagger launch ranks have been changed to 3-4. Okay. It no longer ignores guard. Okay, so I guess this is because it's not really a counter defense path, right? That's what Wanderer is for. So if you want to ignore the guard, which is important, you're gonna have to do Wanderer now. The damage was increased, but the crit was reduced, which is kind of interesting. It now grants +2 speed for 3 turns on crit. Okay, interesting. I wonder why they reduced the crit on a crit heavy path. Maybe it was too powerful. Nightsworn. Nightsworn path has been updated to provide a variety of stealth-driven offense and counter-defense options. Maximum health no longer affected. Stealth no longer grants a blanket plus 50% damage buff. Okay. Pirouette is no longer affected by this path. Flashing Dagger's damage has been increased. Flashing Daggers has been just enjoying this update. The target ranks have changed to... Oh, wow. Okay. So Flashing Daggers now hits rank 2, 3, and 4, and it has a cooldown of 1, so it hits 3 ranks. But it can only be used when the Graverobber has stealth. Kind of makes sense. Now removes the Graverobber's stealth when being used. Okay. And when upgraded, it only has a 50% chance to remove the Graverobber's remaining stealth when used. Lunge damage has been reduced. It's a pretty decent reduction in damage. Lunge no longer ignores block. Lunge now has execution. Okay, so it's kind of like a big damage killing move, I guess. Lunge plus receive plus 50% damage while the Graverobber has stealth. Okay, so it's more about just dealing raw damage. Sure. Repartee is a new version that is exclusive to this path. Okay. Now has a 3-turn cooldown on Repartee. Interesting. Now grants 2 taunt to a target ally. Oh, okay, Antiquarian. So she can give taunt to somebody else. That's really cool. Vestal's gonna love that. Repartee now applies a buff for 2 turns that grants the Graverobber 1 stealth on turn start. Oh, so she can generate stealth. Now grants Repartee Plus now grants 3 taunt to a target ally. Now gives a buff of 3 turns on Repartee Plus for stealth, so she can generate stealth. That's really powerful. Repartee and Repartee Plus will also remove any remaining stealth at the end of the Graverobber's turn for the duration of the buff. Okay, so what that means is it basically they don't want you to stack the stealth. They don't want people to use it and just like stack up 2 things of stealth and then just kind of indefinitely have it. I guess the idea is that you get the stealth and use the benefit of it with one of your abilities. So it's not really about being stealth as much as it is having stealth and then using that as a power token essentially. So that's interesting. Thrown Dagger and Throw Dagger Plus no longer ignore guard. Okay. Thrown Dagger, Throw Dagger, but now ignore taunt if she has stealth. Yeah, that's cool. Ignoring taunt is powerful. Okay, Venom Drop Path has been better updated to emphasize blight-oriented interactions that significantly hampering range combat options. Range skills are no longer negatively infected. Speed is no longer negatively impacted. Stealth no longer grants blanket +2 blight. Okay. Absent no longer gives dodge. Absent now removes all blight. Ooh. Absent Pluff now removes all dots. That's cool. The healing threshold has been increased to 50%. Nice. And now it provides a plus 30% blight resistance. That's awesome. Flashing daggers, damage and crit have been increased. Flashing daggers now deals +2 blight while the Graverobber has stealth. Okay. Does it not do the blight naturally, or does it still do that? I think it still does. Okay, it still does, because that wasn't taken away. So it still deals blight on this path, but +2 blight when she has stealth. So they've kind of just moved that thing. Flashing daggers plus blight reduced from 4 to 3. Okay, so you can't get 6 blight on 2 enemies anymore. Okay. Oh wait, no, you can't. Flashing daggers plus now deals +3 blight while she has stealth. Okay. Poison dart plus no longer benefit from combo. The blight has been increased because it's not about critting, it's about dealing with blight. Poison dart now deals +2 blight while she has stealth and +3 blight, so you can do a 5 blight dedicated blight hit. That's pretty good. Shadow Fade duration of blight resistance piercing has increased from 1 turn to 2. That's good. Third dagger plus no longer ignore guard, and the damage has increased, and it now applies weak to targets with blight. Interesting. Okay, so those are her paths. Her trinkets have been changed, so let's take a look at her trinkets. Foreclosure notice removed the applies combo on hit while in rank 4, and removed gain stealth on hit with flashing daggers, so it's pretty much a complete revamp. Added plus 20% damage while in stealth. Okay. And added Shadow Fade effect to remove all negative tokens. Okay, so using Shadow Fade removes all of her negative tokens. It's pretty good. An additional 20% damage while in stealth. This is probably for Nightsworn, right? Yeah. His rings, complete rework. Now applies combo to attackers when they miss. Okay, so she dodges. She gives them combo. That's pretty cool. Pick to the face skills have plus 10% crit. Dead of Night skills gain +2 relics and +1 bauble. And oh, that's cool. So she can give you money. Oh, that's funny. So she's literally stealing. That's cool. That's thematic. She's literally stealing the money from the grave. That's cool. You can loot corpses. And when hit, +1 stress. Okay. Stiff drink, complete rework. Now applies blight 1 on crit. Okay. +1 blight dealt while in stealth. So I think they've switched these two, right? So kind of like his rings used to be the blight one before, now it's no longer the case. I guess that kind of makes sense. Like a drink is more about poison, right? So on crit, any of her abilities give blight 1. +1 blight dealt while in stealth. Okay, so she's stealth, she gains even more blight. So you can actually get 7 blight and flashing daggers with this. And absent skills apply blight 1. Oh, so she drinks. She gains blight. Interesting. Okay. So that's all of the Graverobber changes. So that's some pretty interesting stuff. Okay. Alright, so let's talk about the changes to the Highwayman. So, all affected paths have been updated to align with style and philosophies by more recent hero paths such as those seen on Vestal, Flag, Duelist, and Crusader. Okay. Wanderer remains mostly the same with some needed value adjustments to strengthen its identity as a flexible damage dealer, which kind of makes sense. He's kind of supposed to be, you can play in the front, you can play him in the back. He's always good, all the time, always, right? Double cross now applies combo. Cool. Double tap crit has been increased. Grape Shot Blast launch ranks have changed to all ranks, okay? And the damage has been increased. Nice. Highway Robbery skills now have a 5% crit chance. Okay. Oh, okay. I think this is in line with the new crit changes, which are at the bottom of this. We'll talk about those in a bit, because non-damaging abilities now have crit chances. It's pretty interesting. Highway Robbery and Highway Robbery Plus now applies a minus 5% crit chance debuff to the target. Oh, that's interesting. I like that. Very cool. Steal some tokens and make them crit less. And Highway Robbery now grants plus 5% crit to the Highwayman for 3 turns. That's cool. Highway Robbery and Highway Robbery can now apply a debuff. They no longer require that the target have positive tokens. Okay, so you can use it without them having positive tokens. So it gives it usability no matter what. Pistol shot damage has been increased. Point blank shot damage has decreased. Okay. It's probably going to be increased on other paths, so it's more to kind of bring things in. Take aim and take aim plus no longer grant dodge. Yeah, I saw that coming. Cooldown has increased from 1 to 3. Yeah. Take aim plus cooldown increased from 1 to 2. Yeah. Take aim no longer removes all blind. So does it just remove a blind? Take aim now grants 2 crit tokens instead of 1. Oh, so you get the 2 crit tokens on base. But so now it's more about just the cooldowns being the thing that you're upgrading. Okay, yeah, when you take aim, nurse way happening, right? So Wicked Slice execution has been increased on plus from 1 to 2. So that gives it some value when you upgrade it. That's good. Rogue Path has been updated to reflect its identity as a front rank brawler. Like that. Damage is no longer affected by the Highwayman's current rank. Cool. Duelist Advance and Duelist Advance Plus forward move increased from 1 to 2. That's really good because this is all about keeping yourself in the front. So now you can move forward more effectively. Duelist Advance now grants 1 block. Cool. So he's more about like being defensive up front. Cool. Now grants 2 block instead of 1 dodge when upgraded on Duelist Advance. Okay. Feels thematically correct. Grape Shot Blast launch ranks have changed from 1, 2, 3 to 1. Okay. So you can only do Grape Shot from the front rank. The target ranks have changed to 1, 2, 3. So it's kind of similar like the Graverobber. So kind of spraying some buckshot hits the front 3 ranks. Okay. But now using Grape Shot Blast moves the Highwayman back on 1 use. It's kind of like, yeah, it's kind of like front mortar kind of idea, right? It's a big, powerful attack. Doesn't do much damage, but it's good. Peeling 3 tokens off people is great. PBS and PBS no longer apply combo. Okay, interesting. PBS and PBS no longer grant riposte, but it does get knockback. Oh, okay, knockback 2. Sorry, I mean I already had knockback, but knockback 2. Okay, so it's more disruptive. Interesting. I don't know how I feel about the no combo, but I guess that combo I never really used it that much because usually it would kill a lot of enemies. So we'll see. Take aim plus launch ranks have changed to 1, 2, 3. Okay. Take aim no longer grants crit or dodge, no longer removes blind, but it now gives 2 riposte. Okay, so it's like taking aim as a rogue is about giving him more ways to deal damage. Okay, take aim now increase riposte damage by 24% for 4 turns. Wow. Take aim plus now grants 1 riposte on round start for so he generates riposte. Oh, that's cool. I like that. Wicked Slice launch ranks have changed to 1, 2. Okay. And Wicked Slice now applies to the combos. They've moved the combo application, probably to give some more value to Wicked Slice. Okay. I can see that. That's fine. I like that. Cool. Sharp Shot. Here's the one. And I've read these ones. I'm excited for the changes. So let's talk about them. So Sharp Shot has been changed to provide better support for backline assaulters. Okay, range damage are no longer positively affected, so he doesn't just get more damage. Melee skills are no longer negatively impacted, so you can still use his melee stuff. It no longer receives a speed buff. Yeah, we saw that one coming. Double tap damage has been decreased. Okay, double tap damage has been decreased on the plus. The crit has been increased. So double tap has got a huge rework. Let's talk about this as we go through. The launch ranks have changed from 2 to 3 to 2, 3, 4, so you can use that in the back. Double tap target ranks have changed to 1, 2, 3, so you can hit more people, so that's a buff. Double tap no longer gains bonus damage if the target has low health, and we'll talk about why. Double tap plus now have 1 cooldown, and they now move the Highwayman back 1, which is good. He needs a way to move back outside of PBS for this path. Double tap plus now grants an extra action, so he actually gets 2 shots to use an ability called Second Shot if the target survives the initial attack. So if he doesn't kill them using double tap, he gets a second shot, which is like it's a second ability. He gets another turn. Mastering double tap will also master second shot. Second shot and second shot plus match the base damage and crit value of double tap and double tap plus respectively. So it's basically another double tap. It can only be used against the same target that preceded it. So you can't just use it and then shoot somebody else. It's about taking out that one target. It's very good for like getting somebody down close to execution and then executing them. Second shot and second shot launch ranks, it's the same. They can target any rank, which is kind of weird because you can't use double tap against any rank. I don't know why that is. I'm guessing that's in case somebody gets moved, right? So like if you have something cause that enemy to get moved when you hit them, that way it doesn't glitch out and you can't use it on it. It's just to cover that base probably. It will not activate if the original target is slain by double tap or is a corpse. Okay. And second shot now has execution, the same execution 1 value as double tap. So it's about hitting somebody down low and then executing them. And second shot also applies to combos, so it's another way to apply combo. Very interesting. Grape Shot and Grape Shot Plus launch ranks have changed to 3, 4. and the attack ranks have changed to 3-4. Okay, so now it's very similar to like the new Graverobber, flashing daggers. It's the back ranks instead. You get a lot of back rank damage dealers now. Grave Shot Blast no longer grants strength. Okay, the damage has been increased, the crit has been increased, and same for the plus versions. Okay, Pistol Shot launch ranks have changed to 3-4. Okay, the damage has increased from, well, that's a pretty significant increase. Both the low end and the high end have increased. Same on Pistol Shot Plus. So he does more damage, raw damage with Pistol Shot. So that kind of makes up for the lack of damage. They no longer apply combo on PBS, right? PBS no longer applies combo. PBS now moved the Highwayman back too. Okay, so if you've got kind of a shuffly team, this is kind of the way to get him back, which is good. And it now grants 1 block. Okay, cool. So it actually has value on this. Pretty interesting. That's a really good change. I think that's going to be really, really good. All right, Yellow Hand. My voice is holding up. We'll see. Yellow Hand path has been updated to better reflect this role. It's a flexible, bleed-oriented disruptor. This path no longer increases HP. Range skills are no longer negatively infected. Melee skills no longer apply the bleed res debuff. Okay. Double cross plus. Removal of block plus before applying vulnerable now exists on the skill directly. Okay. Instead of it being a path. Got it. It now ignores block. Okay. Double cross plus crit increase from 5 to 10%. Okay. The Grave Shot Blast now applies the bleed resist debuff. Okay. That's kind of cool. Highway Robbery launch ranks have changed to 1, 2, 3. They no longer steal an additional positive token, which is kind of one of the really cool things about Yellow Hands. What does it do instead? Applies a minus 10% debuff resistance. It's probably very useful. I like the token, the additional token, if I haven't upgraded it, but okay. And Highway Robbery now has a 5% crit chance. Provides Highwayman with a plus 10% debuff resistance for 3 turns. Okay. Highway Robbery and Highway Robbery plus now apply debuff. They no longer require the target to deposit tokens. Okay. Wicked Slice launch ranks have changed from 1, 2, 3 to 1, 2, so you can use them in the front. Same with plus. The target ranks have changed to 1, 2, 3, so you can hit back to rank 3. That's really good. Wicked Slice no longer have execution 1. So you can hit more ranks, but you can't kill them. Okay. The damage has been reduced. The crit has been reduced. Oh man, Wicked Slice getting nerfed. A Wicked Slice plus now ignore block of the target has bleed. Okay. And then Wicked Slice plus ignores guard. That's really good against the new barricade fights. I don't know how I feel about this change. I kind of liked Yellow Hand the way it was. Love to see how it feels. All right, change to trinkets. Highway Robbery skills on Curse Coin. Highway Robbery skill effect change from gain 2 riposte tokens, 50% to steal. You can steal regen. Huh. Okay, that's interesting. If relics are less than 100, minus 50% crit change to if relics less than 50. Okay, that's good. That was a really hard thing to maintain. Rat Skull change gain crit token on first turn order reduced from 66 to 33%. Probably good. That good thing. Remove the duelist advance effect. Okay, I think that immobilized him, right? Added take aim effect that provides a self buff where skills ignore blind for 3 turns. Okay, so take aim ignores blind. That's cool. Added a tracking shot effect. Hey, tracking shot actually got something. That applies minus 10 stun resist debuff for 3 turns. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. I wish tracking shot got more love if I'm entirely honest, but that's okay. Tormenting Locket. Remove melee skills plus 15% crit. Added plus 10% crit while in rank 1 or rank 4. Okay, so that applies to all of their abilities, not just melee. Open vein skills bleed dealt reduced from +2 to +1. And stress change on range skills has been reduced. Again, I don't know how I feel about that. But, okay. So those are the changes to the Highwayman and the Graverobber. The rest of these changes are pretty interesting. We'll kind of just go over them quickly. So crit on non-damaging skills has been changed. Non-damaging skills can now naturally crit without the aid of a crit token based on their crit chance. So non-damaging skills used to not have a crit chance, used to just be a little blank. Now they have a crit chance. Non-damaging skills with crit values now benefit from crit bonuses. So if you have, trinkets that increase your crit bonuses or buffs or whatever, that's going to increase them. The crit bypasses 20% of the target's relevant resistances, just the same as it would of a crit token. So it's kind of just an easier way to guarantee crits on these kind of debuffs and things like that. Non-damaging skills that crit can trigger stress healing in party members. Also really cool. So when you crit with a non-damaging ability, mag rain or something, you can also reduce the stress on your team. I like this. Here's all the percentages. I'm not going to read all of these. You can pause and read these. And then this also goes for enemies. They also have the same thing. They used to not have the ability to crit of these abilities. Now they can. So you can see their chances here, mini bosses here, non-damaging lair boss skills, okay, and obsession now have crit values. Okay, so an obsession is going to kill us. Great. Some other hero changes. Malediction no longer deals damage. Malediction crit rates have increased. Kind of makes sense. I don't really know why it did damage in the first place. It was probably to make it so that it had a crit value, but now it doesn't need that, so it's cool. Mag rain cooldown has increased. Oof, big one. The crit rate has increased on carrion eaters. Ghouls can no longer crit via crit token on Howl. That's interesting. Probably because of the Kyrogen fight, I would imagine. Drummer, Focus Fire no longer deals damage. Thank you. But I don't mind that it crits more, but the fact that Focus Fire could kill you, especially on it being on an enemy that it was focusing on, where usually that's the enemy that's taking the most damage, not cool. Confession Act 3. Behold no longer has a guaranteed chance to copy positive tokens. Okay, that's cool. I don't know what the chance is. Confession 3 Flame level effects had their healing given modifiers changed to healing given from skills. Okay, interesting. Some changes to the new barricade fights, basically just stopping them from moving back and forth and making it so you end up hitting 2 barricades. So that's been changed. So when the enemy moves, it removes the guard off of them. Just some quality of life stuff there. Here's some stuff that we knew was coming. The General's Dream has been nerfed. Neutral Immobilize token is now removed after 5 rounds. So you only get 5 rounds of Mobilize. Still really strong, but it's definitely been nerfed. Bumper Crop has replaced the plus 50% max HP with plus 50% healing received. So you can heal for a crap ton with it now, but you can't just tank a crap ton of damage with it. This is one of the most powerful items in the game. It's now been nerfed heavily. A lot of items had their healing given modifiers changed to healing given from skills. You can read the list there. Trephine Bar updated the item description. Corpse Light has changed so that carrion eaters that were spawned via the Corpse Light no longer leave corpses, so they can't indefinitely spawn. And then another thing, this is actually a pretty big one. Many heroes have had their VFX, the visual effects, polished and improved. There are a lot of changes, very subtle changes to like color and lighting, to a lot of the abilities. Pay attention to them because they look really good. And a lot of people have been pointing them out. They look really, really cool. So good job, effects team. Couple other like random fixes. And yeah, the Infernal Flame icons are temporary, so we're getting new Infernal Flame icons, which is really cool. And yeah, so that's the update. Pretty freaking big. I'm not going to sit here and ramble on about my thoughts on it. I'm really excited to see these changes. I'm excited to see how people enjoy them, or don't enjoy them, or whatever the case is. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this kind of content, you want to stay up to date with all things Darkest Dungeon, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And I will catch you all in the next video. Have a good one, everybody. Bye-bye.